Hello and welcome to BrookesTV. I'm Joe Langham.
And I'm Boma Mamba. We have a packed show for you today. Coming up in this week's episode,
We look at how to stay safe around Oxford.
as COVID restrictions are lifted, we get an exclusive with Brooks Security.
We get an insight into the award-winning Formula student team here at Oxford Brookes.
Student safety is something that should be taken very seriously, especially in a city. Nave Barnes reports.
South Park, a vast area of greenery and nature, displaying a view of one of Oxford's famous landscapes, but it also has a dark side. Last month, an attempted armed robbery happened in South Park, less than 5 minutes away from Oxford Brookes campuses. So how safe are students? South Park is a place that people can use to socialise, however it does have its risks. The park has little if any lights, making it especially dangerous at night. Students could walk through the park to get home from campus or to get back after a night out, which could put them at risk. I spoke to Jason Costello, the security manager at Oxford Brookes, to hear what he thinks about safety in Oxford.
Brookes campus is extremely safe. We have a lot of security staff on site. We have a lot of cameras, staff and other students around, so it makes it extremely safe while you're here. So there's not too much that you need to do more on campus other than remain vigilant, and if you do see something or experience something that you think is not right, you should report it to the security team immediately. If you are walking home, try and avoid poorly lit areas, try and avoid walking through parks. Don't walk with your headphones in listening to music, because then you don't know what's going on around you. We in society do need to be vigilant and look after ourselves. Sadly, there are bad people out there, but the more we can do to look after ourselves, we should be all right, hopefully.
I also spoke to some students to listen to their opinions.
If I'm walking on my own, I always avoid South Park. I go round and then down the lit streets. It's just, South Park has a reputation, there's no lighting in there, and it's just, carrying my laptop, I'm not comfortable walking through there.
Through South Park, obviously there's no lighting, and people, there's been known to be there's stuff there, so I think as a girl I'm more vulnerable than boys walking through. And sometimes you walk back by yourself, and anyone could be hiding anywhere in South Park, so it's not particularly safe.
It's a very wide open space with no lighting at all, and there could be anyone hiding behind the trees ready to mug you. It just doesn't feel very well prepared.
Neve Barnes, reporting for BrookesTV News.
More now on student safety as our reporter John Richards takes a look at the dangers of spiking on a night out.
In today's society, there's a genuine fear of spiking when going on a night out. Spiking is when a person gets drugged without knowing. The drugs that are most commonly used are mind-altering substances that affect the way you behave. The term date rape is widely used to describe these encounters, as they often follow up with sexual assaults. In recent times, the issue has risen greatly, as people are now being injected with a concoction of drugs. This exposes the victim to life-threatening diseases such as HIV. By using a needle to inject, the victim will be affected by the drug much quicker than other forms of spiking. Due to the rise of spiking, many clubs and bars are taking action through many protocols. These include training staff on issues of drink spiking, using policies such as Ask Angela and We Care, carrying out searches on entry, and having qualified first aiders on site.
Drink spiking can happen anywhere, to anyone at any time, so it isn't just clubs and pubs. But I'd say the picture's not as clear as we'd hope, because I think these type of offences do go largely underreported, and there's various reasons for that. Stick together, stay together, and look after one another. If you are aware that your friend is reporting being spiked, you need to do something about that. You need to report it straight away. You need to get some help. Make sure that you see your drink being poured. Never, and I can't stress this strongly enough, never accept a drink from a stranger in a pub or club.
Back to reality for students now, as the era of social restrictions is coming to an end. Irvin Mantelis goes into more details.
The moment they've been waiting for over a year, as the government announced that all COVID restrictions would be scrapped, student life is slowly returning back to normal, with pubs, restaurants and clubs are starting to flourish in this post-pandemic era.
And after 2 years worth of restrictions,
Clubs like Attic has become a top student attraction, especially for the weekend. Among the social restrictions, one of many people affected were both student and security staff.
We felt for the students, we really did. It was such a tough time, especially those coming to university for the first time. It was extremely difficult. Not a very pleasant situation in halls of residence where they were effectively trapped in their accommodation blocks. We tried to work as hard as we could with the students to make sure everything was okay and they were having the best time they could.
It was shocking. You couldn't really do anything. If you were, the wardens would be on you instantly. Even if you weren't having a party or such and you were being a bit loud, you'd have wardens on you. Parties that did go ahead would just be terrible. You'd be trying to think about like staying quiet the entire time, blinds are closed, jumping out a window to try and get out.
And when the tides turned, how has both students and staff reacted to the uplifting?
Don't blame the students, but the students went all out to make up for what they missed out on. The knock-on effect for us is that we had to pick up some of the pieces at the end of that, and you know we got a lot of students who might have had one or too many drinks at the clubs.
It was kind of like getting a gift. It was like being able to get that freedom back again. Like when lockdown first started, I was like freshly 18, so I didn't like go out too much or was able to go clubbing too much. So it felt like being 18 again.
Do a lot of work around student safety. It's the main focus. I mean, our strategy, the strapline to our security strategy for the university is working together to make our community safer. And what that means is that we can't do everything. We need the students to also do their part. We need staff members to do their part as well and look after themselves a little bit and have a bit of common sense.
It's like a worry at the back of your head, but you try to like not talk, like think about it too much, but we're still like testing before we go out.
Though students are excited to have their university experience saved, some remain cautious to keep themselves protected, not just from COVID, but from general struggles. Irvin Matilas, BrookesTV News.
So far, we've had a good roundup of university life.
Yes, but in the second half, we're going to take a wider look at Oxfordshire news. So, coming up after the break, we discover more about potholes in Oxford and what is being done to reduce them.
And we take a look at the UK's first zero emission zone.
Welcome back. We have some exciting stories for you in this half.
But first, potholes are becoming a local annoyance, especially for the road users in Oxford. Ella Hampton takes a further look at how it affects people's daily lives.
Potholes are a heavy issue for the streets of all counties in the UK, especially Oxfordshire. They spark injuries, deaths and damage for vehicles and people. In the heart of Oxfordshire, Oxford was the 7th most complained city in the UK regarding potholes, with 234.7 yearly complaints per 1,000 kilometres of road.
I am here in the city centre investigating why Oxford struggles with potholes and what is being done to ease the issue.
In the last month, there has been 33 reports of potholes in the Oxfordshire area from the public. The average size pothole costs £50 to refill. The government has recently funded a whopping £500 million for highway maintenance, and it is expected for this to be spent on fixing potholes. I spoke to some of the public to see their views on this constant issue.
Difficult to dodge sometimes, and it can give you a bit of a shock.
The road condition is very bad.
Came on the bus this morning and it was like being on a fair ride, bump, 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 because of the potholes all the way coming into Oxford. Disgusting.
But what have Oxfordshire County Council put in place to help fill potholes and make roads a safer place? The council launched a website called Fix My Street back in 2013, which allows the public to report road issues which will ultimately be repaired from 3 to 5 days. I spoke to Andy Chivers, the events coordinator from the cycling charity Cyclox, about what he thought of potholes.
Recognising the importance of potholes and road conditions generally to all road users, and importantly we would absolutely include pedestrians in this, because one of the sort of equivalent danger is uneven and broken pavement slabs.
Cyclox encourages their community to report potholes and has regular meetings with the council about the road issues. And recently, Fix My Street has updated their software for bike and buggy users to highlight problems. I got in touch with the council about Fix My Street and they issued this statement. We have listened to the cycling community and are delighted to have been able to make the changes they asked for. I decided I wanted to report a pothole on the site myself. I am on the Oxfordshire County Council website where I will be reporting a pothole I saw today. Luckily for me, the process only took 3 minutes and I have done my part to make the road safer. Ella Hampton, BrookesTV News.
Thank you, Ella, for telling us where we can report our potholes. I'm certainly going to be reporting some where I live.
Moving on, do you have an electric car? If not, it might cost you.
The transport sector has been the country's highest contributor to emissions since 2016. Here in Oxford, the UK's first ever zero emission zone now operates across a 6-street pilot area, with plans to expand citywide in the next few years. In the most recent government report, the transport sector makes up for 27% of all UK emissions, closely followed by the energy sector. Within this, cars and taxis are the biggest contributors.
To drive within the zero emission zone could see vehicles charged up to £10 a day, depending on their emissions levels.
Councillor Duncan Emmerett says, the zero emissions zone means one more measure to try and encourage petrol and diesel vehicles to not come into the city centre. We need to make this next step and make sure the air is healthy so that people can go throughout the city centre without worrying about their health. But what do the public think about the shift towards fully electric vehicles?
I would rather take electric car. It's very helpful to make the atmosphere more clear.
Hybrid electric, I think, is the way to go for the near future, because for 100% electric is not yet the time.
I think idealistically that is like great if everyone had an electric car, but I do think it raises like a major like classism problem where not everyone can afford to buy an electric car just yet.
I love the idea of it, and I would love if that was an accessible thing that everybody could afford, and it's a lot better for the environment.
Electric cars are on average £5,000 more expensive than their fuel counterparts. But with the government planning to ban the sale of new petrol and diesel cars in 2030 and new zones encouraging the use of zero-emissions vehicles, Oxford, as well as the rest of the UK, can expect a gradual increase in the number of electric vehicles on the road.
One thing's for sure, this could very well be environmental history in the making.
This is Sasha Oliver reporting for BrookesTV News.
It's always a good day to save the planet. On the topic of electric cars, have you ever wanted to know about Oxford Brookes Racing and their success?
Sophia Ross visits the racing team here in Wheatley campus to find out more about them.
Formula Student is one of the biggest engineering competitions in the world, where students across the globe compete against each other in design and race competitions. Oxford Brookes have their own team that have been participating in these events since 1999, designing their own car from scratch every single year. Oxford Brookes Racing has won the most Formula Student awards out of every UK university, and I'm here today to talk to them about their successful team. This year, preparations have begun for Formula Student UK and Formula Student Germany.
Oxford Brookes Racing is very proud to be the top-ranked UK team with the most top 3 finishes within FS UK. Other competitions exist, which we often take part in and are quite successful in as well. But within the UK, we are the dominant force.
From designing and engineering all aspects of the car to running the commercial side of the team, students are set up to be able to one day potentially work in Formula One.
Well, I've always loved Formula Student, so I started Formula Student back in my old university. This is now my second master's degree. So I've already done one, and I spent 5 years at their Formula Student team as well, Strathclyde. So I worked my way up from there and basically joined here because I already knew I loved it, so I wanted to do as much of that as possible in uni.
It's basically the gateway into motorsport. That's what I want to work in.
I think this project is a very hard project, but it's a really rewarding. You can make a lot of network here, and also you will have friends for the rest of your life.
This year they are debuting their first all-electric car due to the new trend in the industry and are hoping to continue being the top team in the UK. After talking to them about their team, they let me test out this year's car. This is Sophia Ross, BrookesTV News.
Good luck to Oxford Brookes Racing in their next competitions. Hopefully they can add more trophies to the cabinet. They do to the world, don't they?
Yes, they go to Austria, Germany, and even up the road to Silverstone. That's it for us this week. We hope you've enjoyed today's programme. If you want to view any previous episodes, visit BrookesTV on our YouTube channel.
If you have any thoughts about today's episode or any topics you'd like us to cover, email us at brookestv@brookes.ac.uk or visit the Oxford Brookes University website.
Have a great day. See you next time.